Welcome to this 50th episode of Programming with Qt Widgets. We've been through quite a few things by now, and I hope you enjoy this series very much. Please do show some appreciation in the comments below. That's the energy that I thrive on. We'll talk about the TR function and the few TR macros that exist in Qt in this episode. Everything was better in the good old days, back when we didn't have Qt Designer and Qt was brand new because it was so fun doing trainings with all the weird questions people had. One of the questions was, can Qt automatically change languages? And of course it can't. It can almost, and I'll talk about that in the next episode, but you need to do a bit of work for it to change the language. And why is that? I wrapped all my strings in TR. Well, what people didn't understand back then, and you hopefully understand, well, you will in a few minutes, is that TR is just a regular function. The TR function looks up in a table. The key in that table is the string that is in your source code. And the value that it looks up is the translated Q string, the string that your translator translated to Japanese or whatever language. So of course, just because you once in the past called that function and you now change the table, it's not all of the magic going to backpatch your code with that information. You need to call that TR function once again. I'm getting ahead of myself telling you more about that because that's what I'll talk about in the next episode. I'll just point out that for TR to work, and when I say work, I mean do actual translations. It needs to have the translator loaded beforehand. Okay, that's the first thing. Sometimes, however, you have strings that are translated before the translator is loaded. And that's not because that you put them on an earlier line in your main.cpp, it's because that they might be in static scope. And if that's the case, then you need to mark them for translation using Qt translate no-op, saying, I would like Africa to be translated. I would like my translators to translate Africa, but it will not do anything. This function will just return the string Africa entirely untranslated because at the time that this static variable is initialized, I have still not set up my translator. I do that later on, and then when I want to show it, I need to actually look up in my translator. And I do that simply by going to my translator, or more specifically here to Q application, saying Q application translate. That one will just call on the translators to translate the string. Null pointer, that is the context, and continents, that is the continents I here, that's a continent to be translated. But let's see this in action, or rather I'd like to debug my way into Qt to show you what the TR function actually does. So in the last 9 videos, I've told you about all those things that we put out for free. Newsletter, blog post, these videos, lots of software like Clacy and KD Toolbox and so on. Why are we doing that? Well, first of all, we need those things ourselves to do our work. And second, we want to share with the world what we can do. We believe that once you have seen the quality of the software that we develop, that you have the confidence that we can help you with your problems. So I loaded in the editor that we saw some episodes back, and I changed it slightly so it doesn't do the Qt debug here, because that sent me on a lot of debugging before I got to the TR. So now here is my updated version without the Qt debug. Another change that I did is that now I'm not using my Qt from my SDK. I use a Qt version that I compiled myself. I usually use the Qt from SDK because that will give me a Qt version that is compiled with optimization and is much faster. But for these situations where I need to understand what is going on inside of Qt, I will use a Qt version that I have built myself. And it's time for me. Maybe I should even go and... No, it doesn't matter. Let's get started. I'll start my debugger here. It will actually already print something out and standard output, likely that it started and that it couldn't find my translations because I didn't set up any environment variable. So, and I don't have a translation for English, the default here. So, but that doesn't matter. Now I'm here and I'll start debugging into Qt. So the first thing that I'll hit when I hit Q or when I press F11 is Q_object, which might make you go, that is weird. What is on that line? Well, let's unfollow that for a second, shall we? F2. That gets me to the definition of Q_object, which is just a define. So I'm basically in one of these lines, and Qt_tr_function kind of gives it away that is where it is. I'm actually on a line that says static inline QString tr. So tr is a function that Q_object puts into my classes, which is why if I try to call tr from something that isn't in a sub or that doesn't have Q_object macro, could be in a subclass of QObject, but without the tr object macro, then it will complain that it doesn't know what tr is. And it calls onto static meta object tr. Let's just debug a bit further on. Here is a lot of converting the char pointer I have there into a Latin 1 string. And we get there almost now. I can feel we're there. There we are. Let's just go up just so we can see what's going on. So going up here, my tr, when I called that, it went into that line we saw in Q_object, which goes into QMetaObject tr called translate. Remember, was it last or the one before where I needed to call translate myself? Translate is this function that does the actual translation, and it takes a scope, which is the class name for tr, and then scnn, that is one of them is n, that is for when I have a plural version, and S is the source string that I'm trying to translate, and C is that word that I cannot say for ambiguity, context. There we are, context, that's a good word. Okay, and then further down, I'm into Q application, translate, context, source text, disambiguation, and BN. And let's just look at what it does without debugging. If you remember, it said, sorry, I couldn't find a translator, so it will likely skip out real soon in here, but we can see that if the source text is valid, I will pass through that test. And then go down, I'll lock a mutex here for the looking up into my translator. D-pointer translators, if it might be useful for you, not right now, but after this, to go to Qt Widgets and more, where I have an episode discussing with Giuseppe D'Angelo on what the internals of Qt look like. And this is a D-pointer. That's this mechanism. Well, you'll watch that episode. Anyway, I will go and get my translators that are stored inside my Q core application. I will iterate through those translators. That's what I do here. And here I'll get a translator, one of the translators that I had. I will call translate on that translator to see if in that context with the source text, this disambiguation and this n, whether there is a translation for that. And if there is, well, that is the result. Otherwise, I'll continue on. And then finally down here, if there is no result, then I'll just call, remember, source text is a const char pointer. I will call from UTF-8 because the result is a Q string. And then I'll call replace %n. So that's this, we saw that in the 0 or 1 files open, or whatever the example was a few episodes back. That is replacing this %n with the translation for that. So that hopefully explains why I need to install a translator before TR. And now let's look at what does this Qt_translate_Noah, what does it really do? And it takes the scope, and of course there is no class. Well, in here there is a class, but if it had been standing outside, there would have been no class that it could take as the TR macro, TR function. I continue calling it macro. It's not a macro. It's just a regular inline function. What the TR function takes, and then the string to translate should of course be bar. Anyway, let me just F2 on that one so we can see my define for Qt translate no up takes the scope, a variable, and returns that variable. Why am I writing it then? Well, this is not for the compiler at hands. It's for L update. L update will find this marker here and ask in this scope for translation for this variable here. If I am in scope already, then Qt tr no up will do. But if I were in scope, then likely I would already have the option of calling tr. But Qt translate no up is for those very rare situations where you have something that you initialize in static scope or whatever that's called. And getting back to the slide now, what we saw tr do was take the class name, use that as context for calling translate. And that's exactly what we do here. And up here, now that we just saw the Qt translate no up, it should be obvious that my slide has the bug that it's missing a scope for all of these. But hey, nobody's perfect. That was the 50th episode of Programming with Qt Widget. There's one more episode in this module here, and that is on dynamic translations of your applications. Stay tuned for that, and until we see you again, have a great time.